Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for clicking on part 2 of my Southern Farm Estate video. So sorry for the, long period of time in between the videos. I know I say this literally like every time, but I just have so much on my plate, with school and, I had unfortunately, I had a death in my family, so the past couple weeks I have been really, really occupied. Just with death and everything. But, let's happier subject. So this is part 2 of the Southern Farm Estate, and I really don't like breaking up videos, but, this was just a necessary evil. Again, this is a really long part. It's 49 minutes, almost going on an hour, and there's a whole another part that goes along with this video. I mean, a whole nother part after this video, which, again, I'm really sorry for. It's really just a product of me. I'm like a really slow builder, especially like a big mansion house like this with like a lot of integral parts. But yeah, that's just how it works. So I guess we can talk about the build right now. I'm just making sure that the rooms line up correctly. You see me fiddling around with everything. So I think in this part we furnish the backyard, we do like the apple orchard, we finish up the stables, and we do the entire first floor. And then the third part we do the entire upstairs. And I think any more any more landscaping that I have to get done. So, how have you guys been? I know literally nobody comments on my videos. I wish you would. I'd love to hear from you guys, but it's okay. I won't take it personally. But yeah, how have you guys been doing? As I said, I've been swamped with schoolwork. It's literally never ends, and like it's just never ends. So, I have a really funny story for you guys. So, on my Facebook, I changed my name to Max Habsburg, and if for those of you who don't know, I love history, so of course I know this, but the Habsburg family was the family that ruled Austria. They were the Holy Roman Emperors, for as long as the Holy Roman Empire was the thing. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That was my phone. Pay no attention to my bewitched ringtone. So, yeah, so I changed my last name to Habsburg, so it's Max Habsburg, because actually Max Habsburg is a real person. He's head of the House of Habsburg, currently. It's like they no longer have any real claim to any, like, they don't really have any royal claim, but, like, they still have, like, I guess, like, it's like a fake, they call it the pretended, like, claim, so they, like, he's the Archduke of Austria, but that really isn't a title, whatever. Anyways, so I changed my last name, so yeah, I changed my last name on Facebook to Habsburg. And, I, like, put out a little thing just in case. I didn't want people to send me send me a bunch of messages, be like, why'd you change your last name to Habsburg? Are you trying to be cool? Or blah, blah. So I put out a thing. I was like, just an FYI, I changed my last name to Habsburg for college purposes so that if they try to look me up, they can't find me. And, it's not like I really have anything that, like, I have nothing on my Facebook that is, like, that would be, like, affect my chances of getting into a school. But, like, I don't want, like, people I'm associated with or, like, friends with from, like, middle school to, like, I didn't want too many chances, so I changed my name on Facebook to Max Habsburg, and, I put out a little blurb. I was like, I changed my name on Facebook to Max Habsburg so that, for college purposes, I was like, I was like, no other reason, move on with your life, whatever, literally what I said, and, yeah, that was fine. So, I mean, things went by, and, like, people asked me, like, why'd you change it? I was like, I changed it for college reasons, and I was like, I have said that sentence about 1,000 times, but I digress. Anyways, so we have, at my school, we have this thing called Flex. It's kind of like lunchtime, except you don't have to go to lunch. It's like the entire school has free period, and you can just kind of do whatever you want. So I take advantage of that time to eat lunch with a couple of my good friends, and I kid you not, this girl, who I have been going to school with since elementary school, comes up to me and says, Max, is your last name Habsburg, or is it... And then she asked me, and then she said my last name. And I literally looked at her, and I said, and I said my real last name. I don't want to share, it's probably, like, all over my Instagram, which I link in all the description of my videos, but I really don't want to say my last name, just because in case, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like I feel weird about saying it on YouTube. But anyway, so I said no, my last name is this, and she was like, oh, well, on Facebook it was blah blah blah. I was like, nope, I just changed it for college reasons, and like laughed. And then I'm like thinking to myself, I was like, because she asked me, she came up to me, and she's like, because I need it for the yearbook, we want to make sure we have it right. And I just like thought to myself, I was like, the yearbook? So I'm like so like every single school document that they have of me says my real last name, and they couldn't have checked any of those. They went by Facebook to like do the yearbook, which is like I'm assuming is really important. So I was just like I was like first of all, I had been going to school with you since we were in elementary school. And second of all, you could have found my last name literally just by like going online, and you no, not just going onto like the school servers. Sorry for the little cut in the audio there. My sister just came in and likes to interrupt me while I'm streaming, so I had to cut the audio there. But you know, as I was saying, so yeah, I was like I was thinking in my head when I was talking to this person, I was like, you literally could have looked me up on any of the school documents or anything. And like also, if you look, all my family do not, like my family doesn't have the last name Habsburg, and like I'm friends with all my family on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure on Facebook you can see who like your friends are friends with, if that makes any sense. So I was just like, this is really interesting. And this girl is like super smart too. Like she's in double accelerated math and like triple accelerated science, and like does all the activities and things like that. And I was just like, really, you couldn't figure this out? And like, I mean, I'm not a slacker, but like compared to her, I look like one. And I was just like, you know, you have all this brain power, but like really, it's just common sense. Like use your knowledge. But anyway, I digress, as I like to say. So right now on the build, I am doing the the terrain paint for the orchard. And I think after this, I move on to the exterior decorating. So I have like a couple questions. I mean, probably like not a lot of you like to comment on me. Like nobody comments on my videos. I wish you would. But anyways, I'm thinking about doing, like after I put out the third part of this video, I want to do like a series of builds. And I got this. I was inspired by, I can't remember which YouTuber, but it was a YouTuber, and she's building a university. And I thought, oh, that's like a really good idea. I want to build a university. Except she's building it in Newcrest, which, I don't know, I don't really like the layout of Newcrest. I feel like that's not the right layout for a university. But I was thinking that Willow Creek, like the original world that came with The Sims 4, is like they have such a great layout for making university. Like they have that row where you could put like that could be sorority and fraternity row. You have that bigger lot where that could be like the main college building, like the one in the middle, and there's one like directly across from that. And I was like, this is an amazing idea. And it's also like a really big project that I think would draw in a big audience. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, let me know what you think about that. And then I've never done this before, but I really want to start like a Let's Play. And I want to do the Let's Plays kind of the same way that Hattie Sims does her Let's Plays, like where she does it. It's more like a machinima type Let's Play. I mean, I'm really not like I'm not gonna, like, not to toot my own horn, but like I'm pretty good at, you know, building in The Sims. Like I'll say that, like I'm pretty good. But like actually playing The Sims, I suck. Like I can't, like, you know, deal with more than one sim at a time. Whenever I'm like playing The Sims, I always have like full autonomy on because I can't like manage people for my life. And I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do when I have children? So, but yeah, I want to do like a Let's Play, but I want to do more of like a machinima Let's Play. And I was thinking I could do like a royalty Let's Play, if that makes any sense. Like, and I've looked online, and like not a lot of people have done a Let's Play like this. And I kind of want to have, like, you know, you could have, like, different royal families, like, vying for, you know, for power. And, like, I thought that was, like, really interesting. And, like, I am such a history nerd, so, like, that would be great. Like, that would be awesome for me. And, like, you could have each of the towns, represent, like, a different kingdom. Like, obviously, obviously I would have to, like, redo all of the, like, I'd have to, like, find lots and, like, redo a bunch of the, like, just, like, replace a bunch of the lots, because a lot of them are just, I don't think it makes sense for a kingdom. And, like, I don't want to do, like, because, like, I've seen, like, people, like, YouTubers try to do, like, old-fashioned Let's Plays. Like, I think Hattie right now is working on, like, sort of like a Downton Abbey-inspired Let's Play, which is, I mean, a power to her, like, that is amazing, but, like, I feel like I wouldn't be happy doing that, because Sims would go on their phones, and I mean, the Sims world is set in a modern time. So, yeah, I want to, I want to do kingdoms, but I want to do, like, modern kingdoms, but still have, like, dynasties. So I guess it would kind of be, like, a legacy challenge, but, like, a little bit more, sorry, I just cracked my knuckles, but, like, with a little bit more gameplay, if that makes sense. I mean, it really doesn't. It makes sense to me, but, like, I feel like everyone else just scratching their heads, like, what the fuck are you, I'm sorry, I just swore. Be like, what are you talking about? So, I want to do, like, a dynasty challenge, and, like, I want to actually use, like, real dynasties. Like, I want to have one family be the Bourbon family, who ruled France, and right now they actually rule Spain, but they are originated from France. I want to do the Habsburgs, who ruled over, as I said, Austria and the Germanic states, Austria, and the Spanish Empire. They had that crown for a while. I could do, like, the Windsors, who rule over England. I could do the Medicis, who they technically weren't royalty, but what they were a really powerful banking family in Florence, in Italy during the Renaissance, and they had, like, a lot of influence. Like, I don't know, one of my favorite historical figure, like, not ancient, but, like, a long time ago, it's not, like, so, what, I'm trying to differentiate, because I have my favorite recent historical figures, and my favorite, like, non-recent historical figures, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't at all. But, so, my favorite, like, non-recent historical figure is Catherine de Medici, and she was my history teacher calls her as a politique, and a politique is someone who does whatever they can to stay in power. So, like, to have their family stay in power. So she doesn't really care, a little preface about what, like, a politique versus a non-politique is, prior to the Reformation, which was when, Protestantism began to rise in Europe, most rulers had other vested interests in, like, either be it religion or some other, form of, something else that, like, was their main goal. For example, like, Charles the Holy Roman Emperor, I can't remember, it was Charles V, yeah, it was Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor of Austria, wanted Catholicism to remain the one dominant religion in Spain. So, yes, wanted to be the one dominant religion in Spain. So, after the Protestant Reformation, when Protestantism was it was kind of a fact, like, they were just like, whatever, we can fight it or we cannot. So, after the Protestant Reformation, they were like, politiques began to rise. And what politiques were is they did whatever they could to keep their family in power. Hey guys, oh, sorry again for that little cut in the audio. I swear to God, I do not usually record like this. My dad just called me. He wanted to, just see where my sister was, but she's in the other room, so sometimes she doesn't answer her phone. But anyways, as I was saying about politiques, so Catherine de Medici was, like, the first politique, so she did whatever she could to keep her family in power, and it wasn't even her family, because she was a Medici, but she married in to the Valois family, and the Valois family were the family that controlled they were the monarchy before the Bourbons. However, because of just like she ran out of options. The Valois ran out of options. They, you know, she had, because there were 4 sons, and all 4 sons had the crown because either one died or they all died. Basically, to gloss over a bunch of history, they all died. And therefore she was left with a daughter, and at this point in history it was a taboo for like a daughter to inherit the throne, so she married into the Bourbon family, to Henry of Navarre. He was a Bourbon, and therefore the Bourbons got the crown. So Catherine de' Medici is one of my favorite historical, non-recent historical figures, because I just think she's so boss. Honestly, she was like, she just did whatever, and like, so for Hanukkah, I'm asking for Civilization 6, which I'm gonna play on the channel after, you know, I get the hang of it. And one of the characters is Catherine de' Medici, and I want to play with her, so hopefully you guys look forward to seeing that. I'm also gonna ask for Democracy 3 for Hanukkah, and that I'm gonna play on the channel too. And secondly, which is really good news, I am getting all the Sims 4 expansion packs that I do not have. So that's like a long. So I'm gonna get Dine Out, Halloween 1, Get to the City, or City Living, sorry, or just like whatever, all the ones that I don't have, which is a lot. But it was like, I'm surprised, like 4, because I got like 8 or 9, because I ordered them already. And I just haven't installed them. But I got 8 or 9 expansion packs, and it was altogether was $120, which is a lot of money. But like for the amount of content you get, like that's a pretty good deal. Which is like something I've always like kind of awarded The Sims, is it's like one of the most affordable games. I mean, although after a while it does add up, because they, you know, they release a lot of expansion packs. Although for The Sims 4, they have not released as many expansion packs as they did for The Sims 3. Like, it's been, what is it? It's been like 2 years we've had this game, and there's only been 3 expansion packs. I think I don't know, I don't remember exactly, but for The Sims 3, they had way more expansion packs than they did, than we do now. If you guys understand what I'm saying. I mean, I don't understand what I'm saying half the time. So yeah, I was saying, Catherine de' Medici is one of my favorite historical figures. My most favorite historical figure, recent figure, is Eva Perón of Argentina. She was the first lady of Argentina, and I think she was revolutionary in the way that she demanded the vote for women in Argentina, which was something that had never been heard of before. She was this outsider, because no one really liked her because she was an actress, and previously, like, actresses, it wasn't like in America where, like, you could be an actor, Ronald Reagan, and become president. But it was, the rich didn't like her because she was, you know, upsetting the natural order. There's a whole, if you guys are familiar with musical theater, my favorite musical, Evita, it's, you know, talks about the entire story of Eva Perón and how she, you know, went from this poor girl who was, you know, she was a bastard. She was the result of, her mother had an affair with this rich man, and, you know, when he died, they weren't even allowed to go in his funeral. They were hidden from sight. It was just, I mean, it's a really, like, it's an uplifting story for anyone who was, you know, faced, like, some sort of hardship in their life, and, like, I think she's so admirable. So, I should probably talk about the build. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out what I can do with the stairs. I don't leave it like this, because I don't like how there's, like, literally I'm sorry, I burped, I just had dinner. Excuse me. I don't like how there's just, like, a 1-tile gap for the stairs. Like, I don't even think Sims can use that, because I build with new objects on, because, as I said, I don't use my houses for functionality. It's literally all aesthetic. And, yeah, so I don't think Sims can use that, and I'm pretty sure I change it. Although, if I do the royalty, like, the king, I don't know if I want to call it the royalty, or or maybe I'll call it the dynasty Let's Play, because, like, there's the legacy Let's Play, but, like, maybe I'll call it the dynasty the dynasty Let's Play, because, you know, it's my own kind of thing, which I'm pretty proud of myself that I came up with that, because I am not a creative person at all, so, oh, woohoo for me. So yeah, at this point we're trying to do the layout of the house. I imagine this house is, well, if this house is real, I imagine it'd be fairly old. So I, you know, sectioned it off, because one key characteristic of old architecture is, not open living plan, like very like individual rooms, things like that. So yeah, so I sectioned it off. The kitchen is bloody ginormous. Like, I mean, I would assume if you lived in this house, you'd have servants and farm hands and, freaking arsenal of people to wait on you hand and foot. So, yeah, there you go. There's that. So, yeah, that's why that's my justification for why the kitchen is so ginormous. Again, I use a lot of archways in this build. I just feel like, I don't know. My house is very old. It was built in the 1920s, so, and we have archways. I mean, not for the bedrooms and things like that. We have doorways, but all the other, like, rooms, like the room leading from the kitchen to... Oh, well, we redid our kitchen. It didn't used to always be so open plan, because that's a fairly modern invention. Like, not invention, but a fairly modern, like... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, trend. It's a very modern trend. It used to be very closed off. Like, there was an archway for the kitchen, an archway for the living room, blah, blah, blah. But, now it's very open. But all the parts that we haven't redone, it's just, like, archways, very closed off. Like, we have a separate dining room, which is closed off from the kitchen, which the kitchen used to be closed off from the informal living room, where we have the TV. But now we have, like, a bar there, and it's, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I want to build my house in The Sims eventually, so hopefully I can, accurately represent it. Yeah, so we have, and then, like, the formal living room is closed off, and then, like, upstairs, we have doors on our bedrooms, as I would hope everybody does, because it's very awkward if you don't have doors in your bedrooms and someone's just walking by while you're changing, like, oh my god, no, I want to see that. So, yeah. So anyways, let's talk about the build. So I chose a very, like, nude, beige theme for this build. For this room in particular, add accents of green. But yeah, I add accents of green. But yeah, no, I chose I keep saying and like, yeah, I'm stumbling for words. It's like 7 p.m. and I'm already exhausted, which is just a sign that shows that I am a loser and I go to sleep really early at night. But yeah, so I don't know, because I was looking at the analytics of my channel, and a lot of you come from, like, abroad, which is so awesome. Like, that's so amazing. Like, that made me feel so good that I have, like, an abroad audience. Like, the majority of my viewers come from America, obviously, but I have an abroad audience, which is, like, so cool. Anyways, so in America, I'm pretty sure what am I saying in America? We just had daylight savings time. So during the winter, which is where in America we're going into the winter. It's November 14th when I'm recording this. So yeah, we're going into the winter, and the sun started to set, like, I kid you not, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, what is this? Like, I'm driving home because I had a doctor's appointment right after school, and I am driving home from my doctor's appointment 4 o'clock-ish. The sun is already setting. Like, I took off my sunglasses because I was like, what is this? I was just, I kind of like it, but I also kind of don't, because my, like, whole, like, I get offset because I'm like, what is happening? But yeah, anyways, watching, like, a bunch of, I watch a ton of Sims house building videos, and I don't know, I personally like it when they tell stories. I understand, like, there are a bunch of people who, rather would have them talk about the build, but, like, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, I could sit here and be like, yeah, so I'm putting up a mirror right now. I'm using the 0 and the 9 key to shift it up the wall. Sorry if you hear something in the background. That's my sister. She's yelling to my mom. Anyway, so yeah, I could say stuff like that, but I feel like it's so much, I don't know, it's so much better when you're just like, hey, let's tell a story. Let's talk about my life, because I'm so interesting. I guess it's, like, more podcast, really. But, it's a podcast of me building a Sims house, which right now I'm placing a flower next to a lamp. Which, I mean, like, I could say stuff like that, but is that really interesting? Like, I know, like, one thing, so my favorite YouTuber on YouTube, where else would a YouTuber be? Oh yeah, my favorite YouTuber on YouTube, and my favorite YouTuber on Facebook, no. So my favorite YouTuber is James Turner, and he's my favorite YouTuber because he just kind of like jokes around and tells stories, which is like, I like that. So I'm gonna tell a story. So last weekend I had, 2 weekends ago, so not the weekend that we just had, so this is a Monday when I'm recording this, so 2 weekends ago, I had Model UN, and I know it sounds so nerdy, but like, it's really fun. I recommend, if you don't have Model UN, start a Model UN club at your school, or like, if you do have Model UN and you don't do it, do it. It's so much fun. I always tell my sister to do it, and she does it sometimes. She's pretty good at it, actually. But, anyways, so, yeah, so we had a Model UN, and I'm a chairperson for a committee, which means I run the committee. You usually can become a chair once you're like, you've won a bunch of awards and like stuff like that. But yeah, so we had Model UN. It was super fun. Me and one of my good friends she goes to she goes to Penfield. Like, anybody who doesn't live in my town knows where that is. But it's like the suburb over, and I don't regularly get to see her that often. So it was nice seeing her from Model UN. I have a story about Model UN. Okay, so I'm not going to use names. In fact, we're going to call this person Nathan. His name isn't Nathan. But, so we're going to call this person, so this Nathan is a special individual. I honestly, because he's one of those people that is like so obsessed with like school and grades that like I think it sometimes just like clouds his judgment, if that makes any sense. And like, so Nathan really wanted to be a chairperson for Model UN, which is what I am now. So, and he got it. Like, he got to be a chairperson, and like, he also got on the board for Model UN, for my Model UN club at my school, like I did. And like, everything was great. I was like, okay, fine, that's good. Like, I'm happy for you. For some reason, so he first started by harassing all of the fellow chairs and like asking them about like, I don't know, just like random things, like if he thinks I'm a good chair, just like trying to get like gossip out of them. And like no one was like complying. Like, he'd be like, oh my god, don't you hate this person? And they'd be like, what? This is so out of nowhere. So I mean, I still can't wrap my head around what Nathan did. So in Model UN, you have this thing called the Secretariat, and the Secretariat are the people who run the entire conference. The chair people are the people who run the committees, which are subdivisions of the entire conference. So a former Secretariat, her name was, we'll say Victoria. So a former Secretariat, Victoria, so she was a senior last year and she graduated. So what he did is, in order to make her look bad, he went on this website where you can like, I don't know, create like fake message threads between like people, and like made her look like he was like bashing her and like being so mean. And like, I know this, like, I'm friends with Victoria because she's also on mock trial with me, and she's a scary individual, don't get me wrong. Like, I would never want to go up against like a debate with her because she can cut a person down, but she's super nice once you get to know her. So I was reading, because of course, so myself, my friend, and Nathan are the 3 senior members on the board member, which means we have a little bit of a higher elevated position than the rest of the lower classmen board members. So of course we had like a group chat because we were in charge of a certain part of Model UN, which was the training sessions. So he texts us and he shows us these, because they look like screenshots. So he sends us this thing, and I'm like reading over this, and I'm like, oh my god, this is horrible. We felt so bad for him, and like, this is so not. And I was like, I was thinking in the back of my mind, I was like, this is so not Victoria. Like, why would she do this? So I started to think. I was like, I also like, because I'm like, really, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm like a freaking cop, but like, I am pretty quick to pick up on discrepancies, just like things that are out of place. So when I was reading these messages, I could tell that like, wow, both of the, because like it was a message thread between Victoria and Nathan, and I said, wow, both Victoria and Nathan have very similar like dialect and grammar structure, and like not putting Nathan down, but his grammar is shitty, like it sucks. So I was like, wow, you guys have really similar stuff. So and that coupled with the fact that I did not think that Victoria would ever say something like this. So I texted her and I was like, yo, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, yo, did you send this to Nathan? And she was like, what? No, oh my god. So my friend and I, who were the senior board members, brought it to our advisor. Victoria brought it to the principal, and long story short, Nathan was because Nathan was debarred from chair, or he was barred from chairing, like he couldn't chair anymore. He was kicked off the board, and he could have been indicted because what he did was a federal crime. Like so in America, slander or plagiarism, so plagiarism with the intent of slander is a crime. So plagiarism in itself, I think, is a crime, but like if it's a joke, or you're not going to get indicted for that. But if plagiarism with the intent of slander, which is what he did, and slander being is that he could have hurt the reputation of Vidya by because he sent these texts not just to me and my friend on the board member, but to all the fellow chairs, and so it could have really hurt her reputation because people could have been like, wow, Victoria is so mean, why would she do this? So he could have been like, it's a federal, like it's a crime, so he could have been like arrested, I guess. But thankfully, the principal didn't do that because I honestly think that there's something wrong with him. He either has developmental issues, and the thing is like he's really smart. Like he's in AP Calculus, or he's in AP Calculus BC, which is the harder version of AP Calculus, which already seems super hard to me. I'm not in it. I take AP Stat because I was not about to take AP Calculus. But he takes all these APs, so he's like very smart. Like he's very with it, but like I don't think he's with it. If you kind of catch my drift, like I can't understand why anyone would want to do this, if that makes sense. Like because he had nothing to gain from the only thing I can think of that he had to gain from like hurting Victoria was that like people would feel bad for him and people would want to be his friend more. But like I don't even I don't even know. Like it's just it mind boggles me. That's the only way to put it. Is like I just don't understand what he was looking to gain, and now our advisor thinks lesser of him, the secretariat thinks lesser of him, he can't chair anymore. So it's just I don't know. And trust me, I'm not a saint. Like I'm not a saint. I've done some weird things, but I would never do that. Like, okay, so I'm gonna talk to you guys about something. So at this past Molly One conference, me and my friend, the one from Penfield, who we don't know where that is, we chair hopped. And I know I wasn't supposed to, and I regret it so much because I got in trouble for it. And of course you regret things when you get caught, but honestly, I put other people in jeopardy, and it just was it was just a fucky situation. I'm sorry for using the F word, but it was just not only I wasn't the only one who got in trouble. Other people got in trouble, and it was mine and my friends in Penfield's fault. And we accept full responsibility, and we're so sorry. And I'm sorry if you can hear a dog barking in the background. That's my dog. She barks at ice cubes falling. So and I felt so bad. But so what chair hopping does is where you leave your committee and you go to another committee. And I had my co-chair was a new chair, and I shouldn't have done it. It was really bad. I'm sorry again if you can hear my dog barking. She barks at ice falling. She's so funny because she's 7 pounds, but she thinks she's a ginormous dog that's gonna eat your face when she can't even push doors open without someone helping her. So just pay her no mind. But anyways, so yeah, speaking of at Molly One, it was just I felt so bad after I did it, and I wish if I could go back in time I wouldn't have done it. And I feel everyone says that when they do something wrong, but really though, I didn't I know it's it's shitty. That's like the kind of situation it is, and like especially after like the funeral and like you know talking to people and like so I'll let you guys know it was my grandfather who passed away, and I at the end of this video you'll see there's like a message. I'm gonna dedicate this video to him, and like I loved him so much, and I can't really think about that much or I'm gonna start crying again, but there was just like a lot on my mind that weekend, and like I didn't. It was just. I mean, I don't want to blame it on like preoccupiedness, but like my judgment wasn't totally there. My grandfather had died. It. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on. You know what? Because he that's what he wanted. He was such a great guy. He really was. He never had a bad thing to say about anyone, and I feel like everyone says that about people, but really, he was he gave to charity. No, we gotta stop talking about this. This is supposed to be a happy thing. This is The Sims. I love The Sims. Anyways, so, but yeah, with the chair hopping, like, I shouldn't have done it, and, like, the secretariat was so disappointed in me, and, like, that what I was saying, like, I was saying, I've done some bad things, but, like, I would never plagiarize someone, especially someone I knew, and especially someone, like, I am not condoning plagiarism, but, like, if you're gonna do it, be smart about it. Because, like, so the person, Victoria, the person he plagiarized, had friends. All the people he was sending these messages to were her friends. So what did he expect would happen? Obviously someone would be like, whoa, why'd you say this about Nathan? So, either he wanted to get caught, or he's not as smart as he thinks he is. I think it's the latter. So, whatever, let's just move on. So, you just saw me furnish the kitchen. I think now we're moving on to so this is like the conservatory. So, like, a conservatory is like a place where you can keep plants. I think it's just like another sitting type room, but like it's for people who like plants, I guess. I don't know. My family's not a big plant person. Like, my mom gardens, like, outside and stuff, but, like, we don't have a lot of indoor plants, which, I mean, I feel like indoor plants just, I'm, like, really upset that I did not change the space in front of the staircase. That's really annoying. Again, I am super sorry for my barking dog in the background. Oh, so this changes a little bit, but what I wanted to do was that I wanted to change the tiles, because the tiles that we have, the ones that come like this, the check, are really kind of small, and I feel like it looks good, but like I feel like this looked a lot more like classy, I guess, like a little more rich. I mean, I don't really know, but I feel, yeah, I don't know, I felt like that, and it took a long time, but when it was done, it looked so good. It just, I don't know, it looked good, and I feel like, so, well, honestly, I'm getting this checkered flooring from, if any of you guys have ever played the board game Clue, and like, I have a fairly newer one, so I don't know if this is like in every board game, or every board, but like the board has this for the conservatory flooring, so I was like, you know what, perfect time to use it, nice, rich house, let's just go for it, why not? So, yeah, I did it, and I thought about setting it as like oh, actually, no. I think I keep it with that tan, because I thought it felt the house a little more. The other house, the black, I felt was like a little harsh for this house, because this house is like, I feel like an old lady would live here, like with a southern twang accent. Like, she says, I sit on the porch and drink my wine, or not my wine, my iced tea, yes, and then my help me do it, but we're gonna move along. Anyways, but like, yeah, I feel like a southern old lady lives here, like all her children have grown up, she's just here by herself, her husband has passed away, and she inherited the plantation. I'm so bad, like that's so insensitive, I'm so sorry. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, we're just furnishing the conservatory. I put a bunch of plants in there. I feel like if this was more realistic, I definitely would not have put a rug in there, because if you're like watering plants and things, feel like get all over the rug, that arched doorway goes away, and I do like an actual glass doorway. I do the one that comes with Get to Work, because that just made more sense to me. Like, if you're gonna have a bunch of plants in here, it would probably be like a temperature regulated room. Although, thinking about that now, like, if this house was like colonial or something, it wouldn't have temperature. But maybe you'd have, like, I don't know, wood burning coals underneath. Like, I remember I went to Italy with my grandparents when I was in 7th grade, 2012. So that was, oh boy, that was 5 years ago. Jesus Christ! Oh my God. Anyways, that was 5 years ago, and then I also went to Israel before that, and we went to these like ruins. We went to Greek and Israeli ruins, and they showed us this house where and this was like ancient times. They had this house where like underneath they had like it was either hot water or hot wood or hot coal or something, and it heated the floors so that they could keep the room, temperature controlled. Oh, I moved the wall because it was killing me that there wasn't enough space in front of the doorway. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, they had like heated floors or something, and I was like, whoa, this is like ancient times. They had heated flooring. Like, I have that in my like informal living room. So you know what? If they had it in ancient times, why couldn't they have had it in colonial times? Although, okay, that being said, most colonial plantations like this are in the American South, and in the American South, it is always hot. Like, they have snow sometimes, but like rare snow, and like, so it would be really hot here, and therefore you wouldn't need the temperature control. So, disregard everything I just said previously about the freaking coals under the flooring. I have family that lives in the South. My grandmother on my mom's side lives in the South, and it's so funny. So, I live in the Northeast, for those of you who don't know, upstate New York, Rochester. In case you know where it is, you probably don't, but no one does. But so, my mom's mom lives in the South. And, here, like, we get snow. Like, snow is just something you have to expect for winter. It just happens. It's a part of life. So, so we get snow, we adjust, we have our snow plows, blah, blah, blah. We get up to, like, 6 inches. Like, they will not close school unless there's at least, like, a foot and a half of snow. Like, I'm not kidding. And even sometimes there is a foot and a half of snow, if they can clear the roads, it's not that big a deal. The big deal becomes when it's, like, icy and it's dangerous. It's a dangerous. Good job, Max. Good job. Yeah, good. It's a dangerous. So, in the South, my grandma was telling me how they got an inch of snow, not even like a half an inch. Everything was closed down. Like, I'm talking roads were closed, restaurants were closed, like grocery stores were closed, everything was closed. Schools closed for like days on end because, not days on end, but like days because they just don't have the, like proper machinery to clear out the snow. But then, like, I also got thinking, I was like, if it's an inch of snow, do you really have to clear it out? Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason why they close everything down. Like, it's probably, like, really dangerous. But, an inch of snow. Come on, Mary. Like, pull it together. So, whatever. But, yeah. I kind of wish we hadn't just known we closed school. Last year, we didn't have any... Whoa, did we? No, I don't think we had any snow days. And I was like, oh, sad. And, like, oh, it was so funny. So, a couple years back during Hurricane Sandy, during Hurricane Sandy, all hell broke loose in Rochester, New York. So, Wegmans, which is, like, it's not like it's in a couple states. It's like a grocery store chain. Wegmans is a Wegmans chain because I'm so used to just going to Wegmans that I call every grocery store Wegmans. But anyway, so it's a grocery store chain, and people were buying Wegmans, and Google it, like, these grocery stores are not small. They were buying Wegmans out a bottle of, like, gallon water because they were afraid that their, like, tubs, or not their tubs, they're, like, the pipes were gonna freeze and there wasn't gonna be anything because, like, and, like, with good reason, because, like, Hurricane Sandy was decimating, like, New York and, like, New York City and, like, New York City and New Jersey and places like that, and, like, I understand because, like, New York City is 6 hours away from my town. That's not that far away. So people were, like, freaking out and, like, they canceled school and, like, they, like, sent us, this rarely happens, but they sent us the notice early. Like, they were, like, the night before, like, so let's say, I don't know exactly what day it was, but let's say they canceled school on a Tuesday. They sent us the notice Monday, which never happens, and they were like, we're canceling school, and as a result of Hurricane Sandy, and, we were all like, oh my god, this is serious, we're not going to be able to leave, we're going to be snowed in, this is the blizzard of '99 all over again, And we literally wake up in the morning and it just rained. Like, it wasn't even like a heavy rain, like a flooding rain. It was just like, it just rained. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is literally ridiculous. Although I was happy about it because I didn't have school and everything was open too, so it was fine. It was like, fine, everything's open. I'm gonna have myself a personal day. And it wasn't even a personal day because we didn't have any school. Speaking of personal days, like, people can take them in work, so I don't understand why we don't have personal days in school. Like, I know I sound like such an entitled brat. Like, there are places in the world that kids would die to go to school, but, like, I'm a level with you. I've always, like, thought that, like, I think we should have 3, although I feel like you can take a personal day, but, like, I thought it more in middle school because, like, it was way easier to make up work in middle school than it is in high school. But, like, I feel like you should just... I felt like in middle school. Not now. Now when I take a personal day, it's, like, more stress than if I did actually go to school because now I have to think about how I'm going to make up all this work. But in middle school, I was like, I think that, like, 3 days out of the year, you should just be able to take a personal day. Me and my bougie ass self. But yeah, I was like, why not? Like, we work hard, and like, I was like, I thought of like rules for it. I was like, if you like if you have lower than a D, you don't get your personal day, so it'll keep it, or maybe even a C. It'll keep kids given incentive to raise their grades. I should run a school, honestly. So let's talk about the build. So this is the music room. I don't have a music room at my school. I don't play, or at my school, in my house, I don't play an instrument, so I wouldn't. But, yeah, I thought it was cool. It was, like, very, very, like, Gone with the Wind music room. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm talking about, as you can obviously tell. Oh, and I put in the, I think it's called a phonograph, because I felt that was, like, accurate at the time. I also hung up all those pictures of, like, jazz singers. And, like, if this was in the South, like, it could be in New Orleans. New Orleans. I look at me. I'm from the area. I say New Orleans, as I think most people do. I mean, except unless you're from New Orleans, you say New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans, and go to Bourbon Street. Even though it's, yeah. But little fun fact about Bourbon Street, it was named after the Bourbons that I talked about earlier, so you'd think it would be Bourbon Street, but it's Bourbon Street, like the drink. So, interesting. But yeah, I hung up those pictures of jazz because I thought that was appropriate. This could very well be in New Orleans. I mean, I took a lot of inspiration from Coven, which was set in New Orleans. I mean, American Horror Story Coven, which was set in New Orleans, and there. So, it could be. I think at this point there's about like maybe a minute and a half left in the build, so we're just like right now wrapping it up. Right now I'm just looking around, seeing what little touches I can add. I thought, a bookcase is something that they would definitely have in this house, because if this is like a house that, if it is like a colonial house, they would read books for their entertainment. Let's see. Yeah, what I like to do after I'm done with the build, I just kind of like to look, because I built this in segments, because this was a long build, and I told you I'm a really slow builder. I built this in segments, and like this segment, I was like, alright, I'm going to do the entire downstairs. So after I'm done with like a part, I look around, see if there's anything I could add. This is literally what I'm doing right now. Just looking at the floor plan, because, I think sometimes a good house, the evidence of a good house is like if your floor plan kind of looks cluttered. I know it's like you shouldn't aim for clutter, but like I feel like, I don't know, it just seems like it'd be something that is worthwhile. So we're just looking at the screenshots right now. That's the view of the music room. I'm super bad at taking screenshots. I'm so sorry if like that's something you look for at the end of a build. Like, I am so bad at taking them. Actually, that one's actually pretty good. I'm proud of myself for that one. That's the kitchen. But we're nearing the end of the build. Thank you guys so much for clicking on my video. Sorry it took me so long to release part 2, but thank you so much for watching, and remember to stay evil.